What's up, boys and girls? Big T here, back with another video, and this video's been somewhat long in the making because I started seeing the videos that I'm going to be talking about here today. I started seeing these types of videos pop up 6 to 8 months ago, maybe a little bit before. It could have been like, it's probably more like a year, sometime last year. Yeah, it's probably last year where I started seeing more and more of these videos. And I started to wonder if it was some kind of just trend of maybe people seeing that those videos got a lot of views, or if it's a real thing. So I'm going to kind of talk on both aspects, and the type of videos I'm talking about is the I sold my entire game collection videos. So I guess we can probably start with, let's start with me. Will I ever, now actually I'll save that for the end. But let's start with the type of videos that it could be, like, or authenticity. So if it is just kind of people doing these things just because it's trendy and it's shocking, it's a nice shocking title or headline, especially if you have a decent following, you're going to shock some of your viewers into, oh my God, how can he? Because when you have a game collection, like I have, this is a tiny part of it. You guys who've been in my channel for a while, you've seen, multiple videos of me talking about collections here and there. I have hundreds of games for each console I own, for the most part. Some of them are under 100, but most of them are 100 plus games. And so I have a lot of games. And that, when you do a channel like that, when you have a channel that discusses that shows that, your viewers feel some kind of ownership of your collection, right? It's a part of your identity. Becomes a part of why they watch you, why they respect you as a gamer. It's like, this guy is a true gamer. He's like in the culture. He cares about the culture of gaming and all that stuff. Just want to make sure I'm recording here. Okay, audio's recording. You just want to make sure. They want to make sure. That's one way. That's one way that you can tell that somebody's really in on gaming, if they have this giant collection. But there's another side of that. Some people may do that for YouTube. To have like this sort of backbone, is backing, if you will, to say that, hey, I'm one of you guys, I'm down for the cause. And I've fallen on channels that have done that. I'm not going to name them at this point, but I started watching this one channel. I'll name this guy, Phoenix Resale. I started watching him around the time he was doing like a collection for GameCube, and knowing what I know about it. I mean, it was Phoenix Resale from the beginning, right? So it was about him being a reseller of games. But I felt like when he was doing those videos about the GameCube collection, and it just hit around the time where GameCube was really popping, and he started doing those videos about him, he had a list of games he wanted to get for his collection. He got them all, and I think he eventually just sold them all, which was like kind of defeating the point. But it felt like he was doing that to say, hey, this is the collection I'm gonna have. I'm gonna keep this, and I'm gonna commit to this console, because I think he was young when it came out, so he had some kind of attachment to it, but he didn't really explore it all that much. But a lot of people got upset about that. Got upset that they went on that journey with him, and then he just kind of pulled the rug from under them, because they felt ownership. They felt like they were going on this journey with him. They were kind of giving him ideas of what games he should look for, and so they felt like they were part of it. And I understand when people, when you take that away, people get upset about that. It makes sense. And also, he's a reseller, and when it comes to like the community of people who are collectors and whatnot, a lot of people just don't like that. They feel like that's part of the problem with pricing a lot of times in that genre, that subgenre of gaming, the retro gamer. They feel like that contributes to a lot of the bad prices for a lot of the games that gamers who actually want to play these games have to deal with. So I totally get it. But I felt like there was a whole kind of new movement because I saw multiple videos. Once you click one video, you're in the algorithm for that stuff, and so you start seeing other content creators who have videos about selling their collection. So I started seeing it a lot more, and I hadn't really seen it before. It's starting to slow down a little bit at this point, I think, but yeah, it's happening now. If you have to sell your collection because it's a financial, oh, whatever, fine. Some people say if you have to sell your collection, whatever you want to do, that's your business. Yes, but again, if you come into YouTube in that aspect, in that corner, you're cornering that market of YouTube, and you sell your collection. You gotta understand people will not like that because they like you partially because of this. So when that's gone, they feel like something was taken away from them. Even it may sound weird, it may sound silly, but I get it. So I felt like it became a trendy thing, and I even saw one channel. I can't remember the name of this channel. I'd tell you his name if I could. But I saw this one channel who sold his collection or part of it or something like that, and he made it seem like a dire situation. He was so terrible. It hurt him so much to do so. But like a few weeks later, he was like, "I'm building back up my collection." I'm like, wait a minute. I thought you were in some dire situation that forced you to sell your games. Why are you doing this whole thing? And again, those journey videos where people, let's build up my collection. People like that stuff. So I feel like that guy specifically was doing it for the algorithm, was doing it for clicks and views, and I hate that. As much as I hate like people pulling the rug from under you as a reseller, making it seem like, oh, I'm with you guys. I love the GameCube too, and then I'm gonna sell all this stuff. I don't need this stuff in my house. So yeah, that stinks. And then what's the other side? I guess the other side of it is what I'd say is it either it was some kind of trend where people were trying to trying to get audience views, trying to get clicks, trying to get stuff like that. Just, oh my God, it's just something to see somebody's major crazy collection, first of all, just be sold off. I mean, there's something interesting about that. Obviously, because I clearly would watch these videos here and there. But, like I said, there's the financial aspect. Nothing you can do about that. But there's also the side of it that's just like I said, there's clicks and views, but there's also the side of it that, again, it's a financial decision, and what do you do at that point? And again, I don't know. For me, I don't foresee that ever happening. I think I'm financially sound, and my game collection is also part of those finances. A lot of people don't know, but if you catalog your game collection and it's a decent size, that's equity. You can use that for loan purposes. I haven't done it, but I just know that's a thing. It is an asset, especially if it's a significant amount. When you tally up the wealth of it, or the all that kind of stuff, it is also part of your. It's part of your assets. And I know gamers just don't, core collectors don't want to look at it like that, and you shouldn't. I mean, I guess you kind of should because it is what it is. But they might feel like it takes some of the purity away of what they're doing. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I understand. But like I said, for me, I feel financially sound. It would have to take something really dire, knock on wood, for me to part with it. Even at that point, I I don't know if I could do it. I just don't know if I could do it because, like I said, there's a side of it that there's people who collect for the purposes of their YouTube channels and to just have the clicks and views. Again, either if they're selling it off or they're just buying things. But I don't do that. there is a collecting aspect to me to where I have certain things that are sealed that I won't open. But it's because I bought two of them. I bought two of these things, and so one will be open and one won't. I don't know if you can see it from here, but I have two copies of NES Classic Edition. I also have two copies of Baldur's Gate 3 on Xbox. I wanted that physical copy. I knew it would end up kind of being rare. Xbox, Microsoft at this point barely puts anything out that's actually a physical copy anymore. It's usually a partial download or basically a code on a disc to download from a server. There was just a part of me that really wanted this game physically, especially on Xbox, because it makes it a little bit more rare. But I also want to play it. It's a game that I want to play. I am actually currently playing right now. Fantastic game, Baldur's Gate 3. I'm sure you guys already know. Game of the Year winner. So yeah, I don't need to tell you that. But that's the difference. There are people who collect to have the stacks and stacks of things behind them. And there's people who don't, who actually play the games. I'm one of the people that plays the games. I'm not one of those people that want to have there was a time where I thought of like getting a full Wii U collection. But I was like, I don't want to waste my money, on something that I'll never play that's just going to sit on a shelf and say, hey, I have a full North American Wii U collection. So what? Like, great. I still play my Wii U. I play it right now. I modded mine with Aroma. I have Pretendo on it. I can still game online, which is so awesome. The Miiverse is back. Like, I love that. I love that kind of stuff. Because the Wii U is one of my favorite Nintendo consoles because of the personality, partially because of its personality. And a lot of that came from like Miiverse and the music that you would get from the eShop and stuff like that. I mean, you still lost that. But I wouldn't put it past these guys to be able to resurrect that stuff at some point and like put it into the communities for background music, which would be awesome. But yeah, like my collection, mostly, I would say 75-80% of it is stuff that I just naturally bought throughout the years. I once in a while I'll still seek out stuff to add to an old console that I have, a PS2 game or PS2 console or PS2 game obviously. Maybe a GameCube game here that I never bought that I kind of wanted. But again, even when I buy those types of games, I play them. They don't just come in and then go on the shelf. I play them. So as far as me like collecting retro games or whatever, I don't really do that anymore. I will, like I said, occasionally buy an old game here and there. It's probably, I'd say maybe one a month, somewhere around there. So maybe 12 games each year are retro of the retro ilk. But I play them. It's not, oh, I want that rare game. I don't do that. I buy it, and then if it becomes rare, that's great. Or I do buy games that are rare. Like I said, I bought the Baldur's Gate because if I just wanted to play it, I could have bought it digitally. But I don't. I'm a physical gamer, so I like physical games in my collection. So obviously I could have just played that game, but I wanted that physical copy. And the only way to get it on Xbox was to buy like the crazy limited edition. I forget what they call it, special edition. I don't know, but it comes in the big. I'll show you on screen. It comes in the big crazy kind of, like everything's in it. It has like the book and like soundtracks and. Everything's in there. It's a real nice special package, right? So, yeah, I will do that. And like I said, NES, I bought two of those because I want one as a collecting piece that will be kind of, that is a part of my collection kind of piece. But then there's also the one that I will open and play. There's some amiibo that I haven't opened, but most of them I have. I'll cut the side of the box to to be able to like open it and take the thing out, but I still want to have that, make sure that this box is, because it's cool for displaying, so I want to still keep that box, and I'm just rip it open. I cut the side of it in a way that I can reach in, pull out the amiibo, and put it back in, and still have a nice display. That's the only reason I do that, because I want it to display nicer in that box. So that's the kind of collector I am. So that's why don't expect to have that happen with my channel, where I put a video up about selling off my collection. I can't part with it. I think people who can, obviously, like I said, if it's a financial reason, completely understand that. I'm sure those people do not want to part with it. But I feel like there's a group of people who don't really care about their collection. Like I saw this one guy, and he's like, oh, I started collecting 5 years ago, and he had like thousands of games from just collecting 5 years ago. Of course you were headed to financial ruin. Like, of course you were. You're spending all this money. You got family, you got kids, and all this stuff. You're spending too much money trying to accumulate, trying to catch up to all the guys like me who've been doing it from, what, I would say I started with just like legit keeping my games since 1996, 97, just out of high school. And I just started keeping my stuff. Yeah, sure, here and there I had to pawn, because again, financial reasons, especially back then. I was going through college and whatnot, in the mid 2000s, and because I went to college a little later. I did start engineering school. Didn't work out because the math was killing me. So I did start engineering school. So I stopped for a while, just chilled, just worked. And then I went back to college in like 2003, late 2003, 2004. I just went to film school. So yeah, around that time it was tough, so I was actively, but I would get my games back out of the pawn shop. I would pawn them, not to sell them. I put them in, as a loan, and then it cost me more to get them out, but I wanted them back. I wanted them get them out. So I went through that. But I cared enough to get my games back. I mean, occasionally I lost them because I just didn't have the money. I lost the loan. And I'd go in and my games would be on the shelf at the pawn shop. And you know what? I'd buy them back for a loss. But because I wanted to play the games. I'm a real gamer that way, to where I collect and it's part of me. I want my games. And so I can't part with them in that manner. And that's why I don't think it will happen to me the way I see it happen to a lot of these guys who just started collecting like even 7 or 8 years ago. They like in their 30s and 40s, and they just started collecting 7 or 8 years ago, and they have this massive collection, sometimes even bigger than mine, and they can't keep it because they've spent too much money, and they don't really care about the stuff that they buy, so it's easier for them to let it go. I think that's the main thing, is that the reason you see a lot of these guys, again, when it's not a financial reason, when you see a lot of these guys toss their collection to the side, when they didn't really need the money, they just toss it to the side because they don't have a personal connection to it. I do. I have a personal connection to my collection. A lot of my games, again, they're just part of me, and they're part of they remind me of a certain time period in my life, or what I was doing, and that stuff is important to me. So that's why my game collection is not for YouTube. You guys watch my channel like way back in the day, early on. I didn't even show it. It wasn't something I even wanted to display. I slowly started to show things and kind of bring it out. But it wasn't like, oh, check me out, look what I got, I got the huge collection, check me out. It wasn't about that for me. Again, it's personal. It's a personal thing for me, and so it wouldn't be an easy thing for me to get rid of, especially for some YouTube views. So yeah, that's my video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you have large collections? Do you like channels with large collections? Do you look at people who have large collections, gaming collections, in a certain way, depending on how they move? I feel like I move in a way that, I'm really about my collection, really about my games and gaming. But I think a lot of these channels don't. They just want the the admiration for having a big collection. They don't really care or have a personal connection to these games. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you again for watching and listening. Make sure you subscribe. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can catch more videos like this. And thanks for watching and listening. And I'll see you fools next time. Peace out.
Mm.